Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Sneaky Snake and today we're going to be doing a military orders list review. Last weekend I had the pleasure of playing a local guy. It was a very fun matchup and I'm excited to share the list that I played with y'all. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the mission was a KL interference and the enemy was Eugene. This was the list that I was playing. I built this list for critical intervention, but I had already played my Akale interference list for IGL, so I kind of wanted to try out some different units, just because, yeah, I want to try out a lot of different MO combinations right now before I kind of have some set in stone lists. But regardless, yeah, so as you can see, there is a Harris team with the Knight of Justice hacker, DeFerson as the lieutenant, and then a Knight of Santiago, killer hacker. So this is just a hacking Harris. Yeah, three hackers. It's very good. Very good at killing other enemy hackers. I think traditionally against Yujing, this list would be very, very good. But my opponent was not playing a traditional Yujing list, so yeah, it was a little bit awkward. Um, anyway, before I talk about that, I'll just go over the rest of the list. So we have a Crozier multi-sniper with his mine layer, and then a Knight Commander chain of command. And then we've got a Fugazi and a Tech B, motorized Knight of Montesa paramedic, a Mulebot, Pathfinder with Tackleware, two Trinitarian snipers, a Trinitarian mine layer with deployable repeater, and then finally a Warcore. So yeah, this is an excellent list. I really had a lot of fun playing it. Just to start off, so that Harris team, like I was saying, usually very good against vanilla Yujing. Unfortunately, my opponent was not playing like the traditional Dokkaebi with Tinbot and then, maybe some other like hacking network projection. His only hacker was a Dao Ying. Yeah, I think a Dao Ying lieutenant just sitting in his back line. So yeah, there wasn't really a lot of like hacking interaction. And then as far as heavy infantry, all he had was hacked out, which is hard to hack because it's in camo for most of the game. And then Crit, who died early in the game, and then finally a Sujion. And the Sujion is a unit that actually it's very good to have a hacking network up against. Um, but as I'll go over later, that wasn't the cat was not really an issue for me. Yeah, so overall, I really enjoyed the list. I think the Harris team is quite expensive. What is it? It's more than a third of my army list just in those three guys. And I just think that it is kind of scary to have that many points in one Harris team because if you lose it, it kind of feels like you lost the game, which is not a good feeling, right? So, yeah, I think like it in the future, if I'm taking a Harris team, it's gonna be a Knight of Justice with like two Teutonics, something like that. Where yeah, it's a Harris team, it's three members, but if you lose all three of them, it's not a huge deal. Generally, you'll be able to have like some other duo or Harris team on the board. So, anyway, with that aside, um, yeah, so the Crozier team with the Knight Commander, it's always just like a solid staple ARO team. Um, the reason why I like it is because the EM mine is just some point defense that you get to deploy for free. And then the Crozier multi-sniper, honestly, you can kind of choose to put him up or not. Um, I think that it's generally better to save him for turn two or turn three, after your opponent has kind of lost access to their good Apex guns, because it'll make the game a lot harder for your opponent. But regardless, you can also put him up turn one and kind of like layer your Trinitarians with him just to force your opponent into bad situations. That's always a good time. The Knight of Montesa motorized is also spectacular. Um, he just kind of like blows through the board, shoots people with the boarding shotgun, and he can just do so many classifieds. He's a vet troop. He's a paramedic. He's heavy infantry. There's just kind of a lot going on there. Um, the tactical awareness Pathfinder is also a great pick. He can do a lot, and he's bringing that tackle aware order. So yeah, really nice stuff there. Um, yeah, I mean, there's not like too much to say. I think he does synergize really well with the faction is, or with the list, just because he himself is a repeater. So he's kind of giving you that like extra network projection, and you can just utilize the tactical awareness order as like kind of a positioning tool to put him in a place that might be hard for your opponent to get to, um, while also being kind of annoying since he's a repeater. And then finally in like group two, right? So this is kind of my Trinitarian group. The two snipers are really there just to waste your opponent's orders, and they did a really spectacular job at that. And then I'm only bringing one deployable repeater, so I think you could make an argument to swap one of the multi snipers for a Trin, for another Trin repeater. I just find that like generally having one is kind of enough. So in the game that I was playing, my deployable repeater Trin was in the middle of the board, along with his deployable repeater, and they just sat there and kind of zoned out that 16-inch radius just in the middle zone, and it made it really hard for my opponent to move up with his Sujian because he had to go like a really convoluted way to get to my part of the board just because I had that one repeater in the middle of the board. Not to mention the fact that um, you know, like I find that I always need the like one Trinitarian forward observer to be my guaranteed objective pusher, but I don't normally need to. Like generally, the Harris team that I'm bringing can fulfill that role. Like they can move, they can push up and then like push a button or something. So for that reason, I'm not the biggest fan of having two. I also just like really like having the capability of two Trinitarian multi snipers. So, but it's a preference thing. So, just go over some game highlights. My one of my Trinitarian snipers managed to kill crit on arrow. He then dodged an explosion jump from a Wu Jing where he went into CC with that same Wu Jing and managed to do a wound to him, which was just like so funny. Because like okay, most games, well, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of games your Trinitarian is gonna lose the first gunfight he gets into, and you'll be sad. But sometimes your Trinitarians just go off the walls and just like manage to just carry entire games on their back. Like it's like I mean, killing crit by himself is already a huge blow to my opponent. But then managing to not only dodge a losing jump, but also manage to do a wound means that the losing can't really continue to CC in that situation because now it's kind of it's basically an even fight. So yeah, just like being that much of an annoyance is great. That's really what you love to see. Uh, my second Trinitarian sniper missed an uncontested shot against the Weibing, which is just like hilarious. But what you gonna do about it? Also, I'm pretty sure that's how you spell Weibing, but don't quote me on that. Um, anyway, DeFerson managed to do one thing, which was score net undermine, and that was it. So he wasn't used a lot. Um, I think I'm pretty sure I even forgot that he was my lieutenant. I'm pretty sure like I was like, oh, I'm on a 13 or whatever. But regardless, yeah, it was yeah, he did fine, but he just didn't really do anything. My Montesa was amazing. He managed to kill the Weibing that my Trin couldn't. He dodged attacks at the same time from a Haktao Gudon and Wangya, and then he managed to get into CC with the Haktao and kill him, which is just like wow. Not to mention the fact that he managed to score Predator all by himself by killing the Weibing and Haktao and CC, and then he also managed to oh wait, sorry, no. He managed to score half of Predator. He only killed the Weibing. The Haktao kill was like later on in the game. But he also managed to do another classified by like picking up the HVT because he's a vet troop, which is just like great, right? Like that's really what you like to see from your motorized Montesas is having them just do a bunch of classifieds, just being really happy with their performance. Um, the Pathfinder managed to run across the entire map to kill or to coup de grace crit, which I just thought was like so funny. Like it's just such a weird way to use the Pathfinder, but you know that those are the memorable parts of games is when you use a unit in a role that they're not generally used in, right? Like, but I had the opportunity. I just realized I wonder if you can coup de grace if you only have a Paracisi. Um, well, hopefully I didn't cheat, but yeah, basically it's just really funny, like using the Pathfinder in that role. And then he managed to like survive a lot of AROs and was just kind of a nuisance to my opponent after that. So, hey, I'll take it. Yeah, so just some final thoughts. The Harris team is really funny. I think like against combined army, it would probably be like super useful, but in almost every other circumstance, probably not. So yeah, I don't know how good it is. Really, it's just so expensive that you don't want to move it ever, which is kind of a problem because that defeats the purpose of the Harris team, right? Like if you're bringing an expensive Harris team, you have to get 120 plus points out of it, and if you're not doing that, well, why are you bringing it? So yeah, the Montesa paramedic is just amazing for cards. I know I kind of shit on the motorized Montesa a lot, but honestly, he only ever performs well for me, so I should probably stop crapping on him. I think he's really good, TBH. But there was one time, it was funny though. The one reason I don't like them, right, is because they can't dismount and attack people. And so, like on my first turn, the reason why I couldn't score coup de grace with the Montesa by himself was because the my opponent's Hacktow dodged into an alley that the Montesa couldn't get into, and because they can't dismount, well, you're kind of screwed. So that was like, yes, this is why being a motorcycle kind of stinks. But other than that, Montesa is great. The Trin Repeater also very amazing. As I was saying earlier, it didn't do anything explicitly, but implicitly it just forced my opponent to avoid um, the middle of the table for the entire game, which is just really great, right? Like that's his use case. It's not necessarily used for hacking. It's used for keeping your opponent away from your DZ, and he did his job very well. Um, he also had the opportunity to click the middle console and remove my opponent's card. I decided not to do that because I tabled him on turn two, and so like I was like, whatever, I'll just let you score the points because yeah, no need to be a jerk. But that's another reason why I really, really, really like Trinitarian repeaters in highly classified, and the reason is because they can sit right next to that middle console. And as soon as you reveal a common classified that your opponent has also gotten, you can instantly delete it. So yeah, it's just really, really good for that role. um, the Knight of Justice continues to be centerpiece model as always. The hacker is just so, so, so good. Like, yeah, I mean, I've sung his praises a lot, but like having the repeaters, having the gun, having the good BS, having the good BTS, like he just serves such a vital role in almost every single like mission I take him in. So I'm just always super super happy with his performance. And then finally, just the last thing I kind of want to hit on is like I think I'm kind of coming around to the idea that duos are just the best fire team you can take. In military order specifically, I do really like the two Teutonics with the Knight of Justice. I think that's a very good Harris team. But, in a lot of other cases, I often think to myself, like, I think I'd rather just take a Knight of Santiago Spitty and then a Knight of Santiago KHD and be like and just have that duo. Or bring a Knight of Justice hacker and then a Knight Hospitaller like Tinbot and just kind of be done with that. like just creating these really tight, efficient teams. It just feels a lot better than a lot of the other fire teams I'm creating. So yeah, for that reason, I don't know. I'm coming more into the idea that duos are kind of the way that you should be going in military orders generally. But I'm gonna have to test that out. So yeah, that's basically everything I had for you today, though. So I really appreciate you watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.